Side mission time, which is good. I need a semi-break after Gettysburg. Quick army maintenance. I'll refill everyone off screen, but give a small sample of what I can now do given my highly trained troops. Notice that some of these guys have hundreds in some of their stats. I can use rookies to replace some of the losses, right up until the numbers start to drop, then swap to veterans in order to save money. Morale is usually not a concern. Stamina can easily be regained for infantry, though try not to drop it much for cannons. Efficiency in firearms, and melee where possible, are the stats to keep high. I'll also grab the Fayettevilles from the Reputation tab. I'll never get enough of them to equip a whole corps, but nothing else in the menu is really calling out to me, and my counter is maxed out, so gotta get something. May as well try and target getting 1 or 2 super sniper teams. Also, I'm gonna put the Trainer General Johnston on 2nd Corps, as that will be the one I'm bringing today. So, to the post fill, and then to the stage. I mean, this is a shame, but it's not like I didn't know it was coming. Just means next stage is gonna be that much more interesting. Guess it's going to be another one of those times to see how much damage I can do overall to try to thin the Union out before the battle at Cowabunga. The fortress city of Vicksburg has fallen to General Grant's army, and our western defenses are progressively collapsing. The capital of Mississippi, the city of Jackson, has been pillaged by General Sherman's corps before a month? And its railroad connections have been destroyed. Although Jackson's strategic importance has been severely lessened, it is the next barrier of defense versus the Western Union forces. The Confederate Secretary of War has directed to move one of your corps to Jackson to reinforce the garrison. Before you manage to set up your brigades, it has been reported that Sherman is advancing towards the city from the east. You must quickly man the western fortifications of the city and repel the attackers. If we defeat the Federal Army, then we could buy enough time to organize our forces in Jackson and head west to recapture Vicksburg. Sounds straightforward enough. Let's throw in 2nd Corps for a bit of training time, and, well, that is a bit of a manpower disparity, isn't it? Let's see how much of it we can remove from the Union's campaign roster. General, you've been assigned to man the entrenchments west of Jackson and stop Sherman's advance. The defensive works start from this area and end here. We don't have enough forces to occupy the whole fortification network, so we need to wisely decide where to focus our defenses. The rest of your brigades will arrive shortly from this direction. Sherman's main attack is expected from this direction, but he will most certainly try to surround us using his numerical superiority. On our side, we have to decide which defenses to occupy. My answer will be very few of them. Their bonus is very meh for this stage, despite all being built into the woods. And indeed, a whole lot of the trees you see on this map aren't actually trees. They are just graphics for the walls. So when moving around, you need to keep in mind that any section of woods that overlaps with a defense point may very well have no other cover to it. In other words, watch your mouse pointer carefully, and if you don't see a tree icon next to it, try not to stand there. On the Union side, Sherman is going to try and surround us. I plan to not give him the chance by taking my outnumbered force and ramming them down his throat where I can gain a local advantage. Just like I did at Chancellorsville, much to the real-life Robert Lee's chagrin. There are 3 deploy boxes, but everyone is going to be running in all directions after the stage starts. So instead of telling you what to put in each one, I'll show you where they are going instead. 4 separate destinations. First, a note about the top right corner. The stage intro said the rest of my brigades will show up shortly, but it's not all the rest of the corps, just 5 extra brigades. I'll decide what I want to do with them once they are on map and I see which units they actually are. The first of my 4 teams will be guarding the enemy spawn here, which will arrive when there is 3:25 left on the battle timer. This is the best case scenario for my side. It's only half a division, they move predictably since they want to follow the road, and they come in on ground that is either open or partially waterfied, and I get to stand in the trees. I don't need too many units here, so I will just have 3 infantry take this ambush position. The melee team at the north, a mid-range in the middle, and a sniper infantry at the south. All 3 will split off a skirmish team. The sniper and mid-range squads will put theirs here to enforce the surround, and the melee squad will send theirs towards the defensive point here, just in case the enemy's super huge cavalry brigade decides to melee rush through the ambush. Once this part is finished off, all skirmish groups will reform with their main unit and head towards the map's center to be redeployed as needed, most probably to back up team number 2. The second team is going to be dealing with some serious nastiness. It's a division and a half, arriving on map when the battle timer reads about 2:45 remaining. They spawn in on open ground, but far enough from the trees that I can't ambush them from cover. And even if I could, since I only have 15 brigades to cover 4 spawn points, I wouldn't be able to put enough down here to wipe them out in time to turn around and stop the others. So this will be my manpower sink for the stage. I'll dispatch 3 scrub teams to stand in the woods here, and their job will just be to hold off the Union force as long as they can. All 3 of them are going to suffer huge casualties, so I won't be putting anything valuable on this task. Prior to getting into position, I'll split skirmish teams off of each one to hold 3 of the defense points, just to act as a rear guard in case some random cavalry or skirmish squad decides to start running amok behind me. Ideally, they will hold out just long enough for team number 3 to accomplish its goal, and then pull back to the defensive walls where they can be joined by elements of team 3 and the successfully returning team 1. Team 3 is where I will be putting my elite forces, all 4 of them. 2 sniper infantry, a mid-range, and a mid-range cannon will be here. The Union division will spawn here at about 3:20 left on the timer and head this direction, so it's possible, and hopeful, that one of the sniper teams can hide in the trees in the south and not be spotted until the Union have moved out of the trees. Though they are bringing a large and randomly moving cavalry brigade with them, so that's not a guarantee. The goal is to let the Union engage my troops while I am in the dense woods here, and while both forces are exchanging fire, the hidden infantry at the south will deal with the enemy cavalry, then get in behind them to remove their cannons, and finally shoot their infantry in the back, sending them scurrying north. It is imperative on this strategy that you do not give the Union an opening here. We need the enemy to flee north, otherwise my desperate defenders of Team 2 will get overrun and everything will collapse. If that means that the hidden sniper infantry has to leave the cannons be and hit the backside of the Union infantry instead for a bit, so be it. Team 3's goal is to do enough damage to chase this force into the woods up here, where they will pin them in with the top left force. If they pull that off, then they can leave 2 of their infantry on surround duty and have the other infantry move back in preparation to support a fleeing Team 2. Team 4 is where the most back and forth fighting will be. This division and a half will spawn in right as the stage starts, so no ambush potential here. Instead, I'll have my 3-star mid-range squad and 2 scrubs present, along with a long-range cannon battery. The cannon will set up in the clearing here, 1 scrub will stand here and split off a skirm team to occupy the north defense spot, and the mid-range will be about here. Be sure with both of these squads that you find the narrow band of actual trees to stand in. They are going to need the cover. And the other scrub will occupy the defense point here. Not because I want to, but because this entire area isn't actually woods. It just looks like it is. The bottom defense point is actually kind of a sucker's bet, as its facing will allow it to take a lot of pseudo-flanking fire, causing the scrub team occupying it to break and run quite often, even with my general up here to help. That is expected, and why I have a scrub team on that job. They will attract some fire while they, the mid-range, and the cannons fire at the approaching forces, eventually break and flee. The enemy will adjust fire to the mid-range team for a bit, but while they do, the scrub team will be regaining some morale and eventually be able to return to the spot to reoccupy it and the enemy's attention. Rinse and repeat. Team 4's job is really just to hold out here while Team 3 does its thing. There's a good chance our reinforcements will arrive before Team 3 finishes up, so we might be able to go on the offensive up here, but don't let the lure of shattering units cause you to give up your position. These squads are the anvil in the hammer and anvil maneuver, and Team 3 will be the eventual hammer. Don't forget that. My final brigade will be the sniper skirmishers. At the start of the map, I'll have them move into this small wooded patch here. From that point, they can support both Teams 3 and 4 effectively, and given where the trees and open patches are, they should always have someone in the open they can fire at, preferably from the side. The battle timer starts out at 4 game hours, but the map doesn't hard end until 13:30 on the clock, so while you only need to hold out for 4 game hours, you can drag it out to 10 if you get the upper hand and want to rout the enemy entirely, which I certainly do. Last thing to mention before I unpause things, the Union have several mid-sized cannon batteries, but as the post-stage results screen will show, they are all the short-ranged 12-pound howitzers. So as long as you are in cover, you don't need to worry too much about their artillery unless you get close to them. So don't make any aggressively risky moves to silence those guns. Be conservative and make sure you pick a good time to deal with them. Less than 1 game hour in, and Team 4's bottom brigade is already retreating. Get ready to see a lot more of this. With any luck, the sniper squad can keep enough pressure on the side that the mid-range team can hold its ground effectively. Probably don't want the flanking sniper infantry to fight both the enemy infantry and cavalry at the same time here. Maybe pull back a bit? And the cavalry escaped south. I'll split off a skirmish squad to try and keep them off my main unit's back, but this isn't ideal. Alright, my backup is here, and it's all cannons. That's not bad. I'll slide them all over to the Team 4 fight, as that is going to be the area most tenuously held. It'll be a while before they get there, though, what with all these trees. The good news is, the infantry that my guys were dealing with has now been engaged by some of my other forces and started to panic. Should help the bottom brigade's chances a bit. If you are wondering why I am trusting a small team of sniper infantry to hold off a huge cavalry unit, it's because, in addition to training differences, its attacks are hitting me in dense forest, which cavalry aren't great in. Watch the rate of change of forces during the melee fights, and you'll see this for yourself. Still, the fight will be close, so I'll try to reform the skirmish team to the main unit and split off a fresh one before I get too close to shattering. No, don't shoot at the... Alright, the right side ambush is done. Time to get Team 1 into place to eventually help out Team 2. Oh, this is new. Guess I have to move a unit to intercept this group. Not ideal, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Alright, Team 3 is starting to accomplish their goal. Their opposition is falling back north and into the corner behind Team 4's engagement. As long as I keep them panicking and falling back, I should be able to cross the open ground to give chase without too many losses. I guess that's one way to deal with the rogue cavalry. Instead of running around behind my lines, they crashed into the northern brigade of Team 2. All of a sudden, I'm glad that I had to break the original plan and move him up there. In retrospect, I shouldn't have counter-batteried these cannons. I knew they weren't a big threat, but I decided that since they were in the open, and most of the infantry was in the trees, they'd make better targets. but the cannons I have here are largely close support type. I would have gotten more use out of targeting the closer, bunched up infantry units, trees or not. Team 2's losses and failing morale have reached their limits. Time to pull them back to the fallback point. Team 1 should be just arriving now to support them from there. I could have been a few seconds better with my timing. As it stands, the Union have at least partially gotten into the woods down here, giving them a defensive boost I'd rather they not enjoy. Still, that's not enough to force me to have to change plans. It just means a few more casualties on my side before I finish off this force entirely. Speaking of, with the top left enemy pinned and my teams having slid all over, I'm going to now start calling my forces the North Team and the South Team. Also, I've evened out the troop counts by this point. I can't imagine General Sherman is having a good day. The North Force has surrounded the Union on 3 sides, with the 4th side being blocked by arbitrary physics. All that's left for the North Force is the mop-up. It's been a while since we've seen some bad AI, but here they are, charging a larger and better trained force in the woods. let's try to slide a scrub team up in front here. And while I was doing that, my sniper skirmishers got caught in the open and fired upon. Derp. Well, I could end the stage, but given my huge advantage right now, that wouldn't make much sense. I'll get way more use out of knocking out another 10,000 Union troops prior to the upcoming grand battle. You know, rather than finish this battery, I think I'll turn around and come back to support the melee brigade. Don't want to ruin a good thing by overextending now. Oh look, the cannons are walking right back up to me in the open anyway. Good plan, guys. Okay, North Force, time to end it. Alright, we've finally reached a point where fast forward is warranted. So let's do that, yeah? Jackson is saved, and I seem to be saying this a lot lately, but I lost only 5,000 men to the Union having lost 2/3 of their 30,000 man force. Yes, to win, I had to do more than just hold the point. And the majority of my losses were on scrub teams, including several that lost half of their unit. My elite teams also took several hundred casualties apiece. This map went almost perfectly, but that doesn't mean it was cheap or easy. 1 dead and 4 wounded officers. For a single corps fight, this was pretty officer unfriendly. I looted a whole bunch of decent small arms. Cannons, not so much. As usual, assign the skill point. Then I'll take a... Man, 4th Division got plastered. Take a save and head out. See you at the next battlefield.